Russia reportedly is intensifying efforts to develop new countermeasures to protect its helicopters from FPV drones, which Ukrainian forces increasingly use to threaten low-altitude aircraft, Militarnyi reported. In one revealing admission, the Russian helicopter manufacturer Russian Helicopters acknowledged that some of its rotorcraft have been damaged or destroyed by FPV drones and announced ongoing efforts to devise protective upgrades. At the 2024 Army 2024 forum held in Russia, a company representative already conceded, "We did not anticipate the widespread use of such drones when the war began. Our company is currently working on solutions to address this type of threat." Although official data remains scarce, Security and Defense notes that only a mix of methods offers practical protection. Physical mesh or cage systems, similar to the anti-drone mesh or cope cages used on ground vehicles to trigger premature detonation or deformation of incoming munitions. These metal lattices are already widely documented in the Russo-Ukrainian war context to protect armored vehicles from drone strikes. Electronic warfare. Because FPV drones rely on radio links, disrupting or deception of control signals is a classic counter-UAS technique. The general field of C-UAS or counter-unmanned aircraft systems encompasses methods like jamming, signal suppression, and spoofing. Laser or directed energy systems. In mid-2025, Russia announced successful large-scale tests of new laser-based defenses against drones, describing the systems as promising and aiming to fold them into a universal air defense architecture, layered or hybrid protection. Given the limitations of any single method, a layered architecture, combining physical, electronic, and kinetic defenses, is more likely. In the broader strategic frame, the Ukrainian side is also rapidly evolving its drone warfare capabilities. Russia is attempting to replicate or adapt some innovations first fielded by Ukraine, as noted in analysis of Russian force adaptation. Meanwhile, Ukraine is forming new helicopter units tasked with intercepting drones as part of its air defense strategy. Earlier, it was reported that Russia has unveiled new interceptor drones, including the Skvorets PVO and Kinzhal models at the Archipelago 2025 forum. Designs said to mirror some used in Ukraine's defense systems. Another system on display was the Bolt Interceptor, part of a broader counter-UAV complex. The complex includes radar-based target detection with targeting data provided either manually by an operator or from air defense radar systems. In addition to aerial interceptors, CBST introduced the Krestnik M, designed to target moving maritime objects. The drone can be launched from land, sea, or air platforms, featuring a V-tail design and straight wings that deploy after launch or release. The exhibition also included the OVOD PVO multi-role quadcopter type interceptor, intended for capturing and destroying hostile UAVs. It can be equipped with either a kinetic payload or an integrated system for initiating an explosive charge. Syria's President Ahmed al-Sharaa has told Russia's President Vladimir Putin that he seeks to restore and redefine ties with Moscow, a key ally of ousted longtime Kremlin ally Bashar al-Assad. Al-Sharaa made the statement while meeting with Putin in Moscow during his first state visit to the country that has been hosting al-Assad since his exile from Syria 10 months ago. "We are trying to restore and redefine in a new way the nature of these relations so there is independence for Syria," sovereign Syria and also its territorial unity and integrity and its security stability, al-Shara told Putin in the Kremlin. The Syrian leader assured that Damascus would honor all past agreements with Moscow. There are bilateral relations and shared interests that bind us with Russia, and we respect all agreements made with it, he said. The Kremlin announced that the talks also covered the future of Russian military bases in Syria. Several days before his visit to Moscow, Ahmed al-Shara emphasized that Syria is not currently interested in a conflict with Russia. However, experts note that the interim president's peaceful statement conceals a cold calculation. Damascus currently holds a significant trump card in its relations with Moscow. Russian military bases in particular, and the continued military presence in Syria in general. Al-Shara understands the importance of this issue for Russia and, as analysts note, may therefore demand significant concessions on certain aspects. According to experts, the interim Syrian president is most concerned about two factors: the funds Moscow can provide for the country's reconstruction and the death of Bashar al-Assad, which Ahmed al-Shara needs to strengthen his authority domestically. Assad, as is known, is currently in Moscow, where he was granted political asylum several months ago. This became necessary after the advance of terrorist organizations, of which the current Syrian leader was one, on Damascus, and the fact that Assad managed to escape then still greatly irritates the new Syrian government, which needs a scapegoat on whom to pin all of today's problems. We maintain close relations with the Syrian people and strive to develop relations with Damascus, and the Joint Government Commission between Russia and Syria will resume its work, Vladimir Putin stated. In turn, Ahmed al-Shara emphasized that the new Syrian authorities intend to reset relations with Russia. The most important thing now, of course, is stability. Stability in the country and in the region as a whole, the country's interim president stated. He added that Syria respects all previously signed agreements with Russia, but seeks to define a new nature for bilateral relations. For Damascus, maintaining ties with Russia is important for rebuilding the war-shattered country and shoring up international legitimacy for the government. In a recent interview with US network CBS, al-Shara said Russia has close and long-standing relations with Syria, which relate to the basic structure of the state and to energy and food, for which Syria depends partly on Russian supplies, as well as some old strategic interests. Russia, for its part, has retained a presence at its air and naval bases on the Syrian coast, and the Kremlin has voiced hope for negotiating a deal to keep the outposts. Moscow has also reportedly sent oil shipments to Syria.